Hello, 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 and welcome back to InugamiTheHound. I'm back once again playing. Oh, well, I'm playing, but like watching some more stuff. Generic purple Persian with zero context. 2024. That was 2 years ago.
Oh no, a furry? Where? This is pretty nice.
Funny, they make me want to merge without looking.
Look at my toaster slots. Look at them. Purple, throw it back. On it. I appreciate you. Grape, why are you orange? Purple? It's not what it looks like.
Oh hey, how's the moving go?
I can stop whenever I want. You have the problem.
Google, show me this guy's balls.
Please evacuate in a calm and orderly manner.
And there's a prize in every box. That's right, it's me, and today... If my heart explodes halfway through this, honestly, that would be pretty funny. So let's go! Ghoster Tom, I am the ghost of Christmas past. Son! The what? Only a few Persians were harmed in the making of this video.
Oh yeah.
Delicious. Have mercy on my soul, Brandon! Oh, what else could I do?
Lightsaber antlers.
So, how's your day going, Purple? On fire! Hi, I'm Apple. Hi, I'm Orange. Hi, I'm Lemon. Hi, I'm Watermelon. Hi, I'm Blueberry. Yo, what's up? Oh, I eaten it. Rattle 'em, boys! That's Purple, you're a furry! I am? Yeah. Breaking news! Wait, why is it broken? Holds you, ooh-woo, at gunpoint. Oh no, 2020 Chevy Silverado. Hey, Purple! I'm touching it. I'm touching grass. See, look, I'm doing it. Procrastination! Huh, honestly, I've had jokes go worse. You're fired. Oh. You, me, gas station. You don't know what I've seen! Following message has been brought to you by...
God damn, I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of funny. Totally out of context.
School! Hi, Grape! You like... Purple, isn't caffeine a drug? Oh, this is probably part of the purple cycle. You see, when a purple explodes, they evaporate into... Wait, but spooky moment! Oh my god, is that... 14 werewolves. Oh, my neck! Ooh! Oh, I feel... Oh god, I feel funny. I'm gonna go get bread. Your Honor, if you are what you eat, then I'm an RTX 3090.
Oh
The
my.
body pillow is real, no matter how much you scream. Time for me. Treat? Treat? You see, when somebody with a nut allergy eats... Whoa. They opened the door! Okay, turns out I was just a...
I should ask if Purple is going to get a... Hello there. Let's see. 40 weeks, 40 streak. Holy crap. 40 streams? That is a lot. Let's see. Let's see. Congratulations to you. Let's see. Man, I really need to finish up Expedition 33. That's a game, I know it's an RPG, I definitely get beat. I've beaten other RPGs, I've beaten the Yakuza games. So yeah, I've beaten some others, I've beaten like, you know, Dragon Age and all that. So I've beaten RPGs on my channel. Just gotta do it.
Hydrated! Yeah. Okay, great. Get in. What the fuck? Grandma, no! Nuh-uh! The f you mean nuh-uh? Ah, my non-existent toe! No! Daddy Krampus! I'm not your father! Shut up! Me. Grab firmly. Well, if your eardrums aren't bleeding on a purple stream, is it really a purple stream? I need a break. I just need a 15-second mental health break. Just give me a second. And they were reactor mates.
Let's see if this one.
No! 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 Internet! That's right, it's me, and today, memes. That's right, the memes are still happening. Also, the bean, the proto bean, it's coming. It's gonna be here soon-ish. We're in the prototyping phase. After all this time, the purple proto bean, it's coming. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Anyways, on with the memes. Yeah. Cuddles, those are guns. What are you gonna say if I say no? I'm not gonna say no.
What? He's asking Cuddles, and he's putting two Glock pistols touching each other. At least his finger is off the trigger, but still, that's like,
Oh, but like, could you put those down first? I love seeing memes relating to Cuddles. Yeah, Cuddles? Sure. Okay, can you put those down first? Thank you. It's one way to get Cuddles. This is a robbery. Cuddles, please, thank you. If you want, you don't have to. Texan Cuddles. Aw, me sleeping after a whole day of being fluffy and doing nothing else. Yeah. Apparently, dog treats can be blended into a drink. If you're not a canine anthro, do not drink it. Okay. Anything could be blended into a drink if you're determined enough. Yeah. I'm not clicking on that on stream. I'm sorry. I'm not clicking on that. I want a count of how many times I've seen this meme. I'm pretty sure it's over 30 times. Also, why is it so small? Protogen train. Protogen train. Yeah. I've also
it's a
seen this
Progen
lot.
train, super small.
Yeah. How many times have I seen this?
Fish and chips. Fish with hips. Now, I want some fish and chips. Can I get some fish and chips? I want some fucking fish and chips, Mike.
Fish bird scream. Jif peanut butter. That doesn't say Jif. Nut butter.
Yes.
My throat gets big and round with it. You could just say you're allergic to nuts. I'm also allergic to nuts, but I'm normal about it. Yeah, no, I've seen that. I've seen that. Yep. Okay. I forget what that's from. Like, I've seen that dance all over the place. I just forget what it's like from. Is it from anything? Can I make Purple do that dance? Yeah, well, obviously with animation skill. Unfortunately, I don't really have that. Run! He's gonna smack you with fish. Sorry, fish. Sorry, fish. Sorry, he's gonna smack you with the fish. Sorry. He's gonna smack you with imageflip.com. Yeah! Besides the brain rot, we're gonna keep going. When you zone out into your own little world and are completely unaware you're staring intensely at someone. Yeah, I've done that before. Also, fearless randomist meme. Yeah. Oh my god! Put it down. Put it down. Why is the Avali calling it airstrike? Why is the Avali calling it an airstrike? Also, that's amazing art. Oh my gosh. Big and round explosion. Just because explosions are spherical in nature and sometimes they're large doesn't mean that they... Hello, Kobold! Ah! There we go. I'm not a furry. Wicked Anthro Temptations. Not getting owned in the group chat. Grandma's will. Cold disrespect.
Is that fucking Jenna from Echo?
Oh, please, you didn't have that already. Mom's love. Well, also, that was already happening. You didn't have that. And Mom's love, it'll be fine. But Animal Crossing, Night in the Woods, Elden Ring, Star Fox, Sly Cooper, and Asgore. Asgore, hi! Yeah! Driving in my car right over this dam. Hey, it's cracking. Get picked up. Yeah! Lamp? Wow! This is the part where you do whatever you want to me. Alright, but no one really lasts long with me. Monopoly Pokemon. Do you want to play Monopoly Pokemon with me?
I have Monopoly, fucking My Hero Academia, and I still haven't got a chance to play with anyone. I have no one to play fucking Monopoly with. Fuck.
My boyfriend got sick of it and doesn't want to play it anymore. Remember, if you want more furries on your timeline, type grilled cheese.
Who's a fucking retard. And mom will.
Yeah! That short is still getting the comment grilled cheese under it like a year and a half later. I could not be more happy. Designed with gamers in mind. designed with activists in mind. It's the same image. Why can't I be held like that? Oh yeah, because I'd break someone's arms, right? You are the 3 dragons! Sorry. In you, there are 3 dragons. Bad, terrible, and awful. No, they're all just 3 bads.
3 bad dragons.
In you, there are 3. Dragons. Okay, the good, the bad, and the ugly. No, it's just all terrible. Yeah. Purple, why are you laughing? Don't worry about it. Oh, what is this next one? I don't want to scroll down. Oh, never mind. Okay, we're good. Yeah, he has pants. Dolphin for sodas. There are too few. There needs to be more. This isn't a meme. This is just a request with a. This is just a request. Take a shot. In this world, it's kiss or be kissed.
Boy kisser.
What the hell are the friendliness pellets then? Ow! It's pollen. Oh God! You like kissing flowers, don't you? Maybe. You're losing an argument against a raccoon fursuiter. Oh no! Please don't be the joke I'm thinking. Please no. Please no. Please no. Please no. Please God no. Please no. No.
Ah.
Afraid of cheese graters. Raccoons or circles? Probably raccoons. You know, let's just not think about that right now. Yeah. Ooh, you like a ski art? Don't you? I think that's how you say it. Yeah.
ASCII art.
Shot.
You're the 6 to my
I think I
7.
remember seeing this one. Do I have to read it? You're the only 6 to my 7. Divorce. You're not married.
The skibbiest person I've ever met, Tilda.
It's a sequel. Oh, I remember that one. No, please. No, please. No.
No.
No. Oh, it stopped. I think that's enough watermarks. One more. Take a shot to hide the pain. I don't know what to say. What am I supposed to say? I don't. Pain? Fine. Yeah, I'll just pain. Pain. This image caught.
Yeah, funny. You really hate that. Funny. What?
Pain. POV. You moved to Australia. Your new. I thought this was gonna be before you move to Australia, after you move to Australia. You know, virgins are basically cyborg kangaroos with the big thighs. Oh my God, you're right. That's funny.
With no pouch.
Mandated kangaroo wife. No, please, no, I'm gay. Sniper's wife. No, who's gonna tell them? And now, can I get my RAM for cheap again?
OpenAI. Yes. Burn them. Burn all the data centers down.
Yay! Oh wait, no, this is posted back in February. Wait, is this before Sora was, don't worry, Sora still exists. No, it does. Who could have started? Oh no, who could have done this? That! No, I thought I've seen this. Never mind. She, her. Yeah! They, them. Yeah! Cool hat! Are they wrong? Exactly. Yeah! When chapter 5 comes...
I still don't care about, Undertale or Deltarune. I know every other furry does, but not me. Also FNAF.
Out, yeah, when chapter 5 comes out, I need more Deltarune. I'm sorry, I need more Deltarune. Oh God, Relsey's hitting that boof again. I know mobs have been through this. I don't trust you. I don't trust you guys. I'm sorry. Wait, what? It's not a meme. It's just a picture of a collar. Oh, cursive butt. Purple, why are you not saying anything? To avoid saying it out loud. Leash him. Oh no! Come on, Purple, you can say. Oh no! Say it like you mean it, Purple. This will be a terrible thing. Oh no. We're just gonna move on. Which is gayer at me? It's me. Hi. Being gay. Whatever the fuck these two have going on. Ooh, okay. I'd still say me. Yeah. What?
You need caffeine, drink caffeine.
Okay, fine. I'm not
Good
yipping
boy.
though. Don't good boy me. I didn't even yip. Persians could open their mouths. I literally have multiple stickers of me opening my mouth. Persians are cyborgs. They have to eat and drink. See, like this guy, he's opening his mouth. See? Me giving my Persian head pats before I yank his before I yank his ram out and flip it for profit. Why are you like this? I've seen this meme before. I keep seeing this meme. I've seen this 1,000 times. The recycle reaction is the most reacted one. Not a recycle. Rips out your organs. Rorix 3. What? Why is this 5 pixels? Okay, yeah, this is nice. There's no meme here. It's just a furry and a collar. It's not weird if you don't make it weird. You know, either it's a dog, collar, it's fine. No, it doesn't. Okay. No! 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 He got turned into a furry! No! Bark, bark! Wow. Ba-da-ba-bum. Ba-bum. Dude.
Who are these people? I mean, is this something like, is this a comic book or a cartoon? I don't know.
We will TF the world. No, don't Team Fortress the world. One of us. One of us. One of us. Anti-furries in a nutshell. Wow. No! 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 I just see the U orb. No! Why would you? Murder. Murder. Stop wooing! If I see another comment saying me next, I'm gonna crash out. The guy crunched that thing and it exploded. Was that the bite of 87? Is that a furry meme or kind of just a all in? See, that's what we call a full frontal assault. Does it work? No. Is it cool looking? A little bit. Do I lose? Mostly. Yeah. Your fursuit got ripped in half at TFF? In half? What are you doing to get ripped in half? Which direction?
Riding, right?
Yeah.
We're making you a buddy. A little pissed, but it's okay.
I don't know who these characters are.
I think I've seen that. I think I've seen this video. There's this guy holding a deer.
They like the little screamy guy. Those are funny noises. I've seen this one before. Why is it 5 pixels? I can't read this. Oh no, I can. Sorry.
Hey, Renko, check this out. I can live the whole world in my flippers. It's physically impossible. And he lives his world.
Sorry, and he was his world. Pixels! You know, you don't get any. My face is like 32-bit. Sorry, 16-bit. Sorry, 8-bit. 4-bit. 2-bit. What? Actually, no, my face is about 2-bit. Yeah, found this in my meme folder. I think it's from 5 years ago. Stop studying, bro. Oh, I remember math like this. Why? It hurts. I fucking love math. You do? Banned. Jackson!
Yeah, I still remember that one. I don't know if it's like it was real or not. Where this guy dude this sexy like wolf guy with a big ass bulge on the freaking chalkboard. Oh my god. Oh my god. I would not.
That's a fun animation. I like that one. Yeah, I do remember that. No, they did tell me that. The inspiration for this one is, this happened to IRL apparently. Yeah, I designed my persona today. You're a furry? Ew! Mike, ban them. Thank you. This is a classic. Proto, pro, toe, gen, gento, proto-toe, pro-gen, ga, proto-gen, j. I want that G. I want my face in that G. I like your holy shit, what do you just, I like your cut, G, 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 G. Wow, you really fucking like G. Fellas, you know that's a metal plate, right? The fire marshal's coming for the annual inspection. Put that 9-volt back in the smoke detector. Hide your daisy chain. Daisy sculpture. Sorry, power strip sculpture. Change your shirt! Heart story. Combustibles around radiator. OSHA violations? Oh, you bet! What are they holding? Oh, an error, clearly. Whoa! Hot big fish with big tails in your area. Click OK below to meet the fish. Why is it not working? No! Indestructible. I was there when this was created! Indestructible because it's not deer season. Exactly! The bullets cannot legally harm me because it's not deer season. Yippee! Yeah! Look at him. Bro! He's... Shut up! Today, we... Yep. I'm doing it for the meme! Is that Fox? Oh yeah, Fox is also Yep, as well as Kobolds. Wait, are Persians part Fox? What's it say? Doesn't know English. Doesn't matter, boss. I bought it on sale anyways. I'm peace. I come in peace. Yeah. It's such a basic joke. Purple, don't laugh at. God, I'm so mature. No, the joke is peace is funny. Yay! Violence! Anyways, that's gonna be all for today. If you like that and all the buttons, blah blah blah. It's been over 90 episodes so far. You know how it goes. Again, sorry for this being less frequent. Don't worry.
Let's see. What else do we got? Yeah. I'm Simon Pearson. Let's see. Check this
You know,
out.
people love arguing about striker fired versus hammer fired. Hell, I think they just like to argue. I might fit in that category as well. But anyway, it seems like every year there's a new pistol claiming to be lighter, faster, better, It's the next big thing. It's shiny and new, the latest and the greatest. Well, this old Beretta 92 FS just keeps on showing up. And there's probably a reason for that. Hey, welcome to the channel, Old Man Life Thoughts and Opinions. Greatly appreciate you choosing this video to view. Hey, keep in mind, that's all this video is. It's just my thoughts and opinions. Don't get all your panties in an uproar about anything. I'm not an expert, not an instructor. It's just my thoughts and opinions. I'm not a firearms tactical ninja. I'm just an old man that likes discussing different topics, and so we're going to talk about this Beretta 92 FS. Now, let me ask you this right here to ponder on.
I want to get a hand on a Beretta 92 FS. Man, that shit looks so good.
On a question you can think about, and then leave your answer down in the comments. If Beretta released this exact same pistol today, and nobody had ever seen it before, would people call it outdated or revolutionary? Hey, the Beretta 92 FS isn't some forgotten relic. For decades, it served military personnel and police forces around the world and earned a reputation for reliability. An alternate version, the M9, served the United States military for decades. When governments are issuing pistols to large number of people, reliability matters. Well, it did until SIG M17 and P320 showed up. Ooh, but that's a different story. Anyway, you know, it's not internet reliability. It's real reliability, proven reliability. It's the kind of reliability that has to work in heat, cold, dirt, rain, neglect. That's how a reputation gets built. The one thing you'll notice immediately, I think, shooting it, is the recoil. Maybe you'll be able to see it. The gun is soft shooting.
The Beretta is like so damn cool, awesome, amazing. I wish I could get my fucking hands on it.
The all-metal frame adds some weight to it, and that weight helps tame recoil. The slide, buttery smooth. The gun points naturally. For many shooters, this longer sight radius, there you go, makes accurate shooting easier. Another thing I really appreciate, just the overall feel of this. It's really comfortable. The pistol feels substantial without overbearing feel to it. Maybe that's the old man in me talking, but steel and aluminum just feels different than polymer. Not necessarily better, just different. And you can't ignore, it's just sexy. It's a beautiful firearm, especially the Italian version versus the made in the USA. And that's another video, and we'll do that in the future. But the finish is a little different, in my opinion, between those two versions. However, both are damn good looking firearms, damn sure good shooting. And I haven't even mentioned the Hollywood effect that the Beretta has had. Now, I got to be fair. The Beretta, it isn't perfect. It's larger than many modern carry guns, but not by much. It's heavier, but it's not overburdened.
I think it's mostly the weight that like kind of gets people. I mean, it being longer. I mean, there's a lot of pistols, striker fire pistols, like a bit longer. It's still weight. I think that's gonna affect people the most because you know you're gonna be carrying it, and any extra weight has an impact on you.
The double action, single action trigger system, it takes a little bit of practice to get used to. Your first trigger pull is definitely different from every pull thereafter. Hey, some shooters hate it, some shooters love it. And if you're accustomed to a striker fired pistol, well, there's definitely a learning curve. The safety and the decocker, it also requires some training. You can't just buy one and magically become proficient, although you can come pretty doggone close. Here's what I think's interesting. A lot of gun discussions revolve around what's new. The latest optic ready pistol, the newest trigger system, the latest magazine capacity. But sometimes we forget to ask a very simple question. Has the gun already proven itself with decades of proof? Because the reality of this is the Beretta 92 FS doesn't need to prove anything anymore. It already did years ago. And now you can get that reliable confidence as an optic ready system if you need help with a red dot as well. All right. So am I telling everyone to go out there and buy Beretta 92 FS? No. Yeah, I am. No. Everyone needs one of these. I really do believe everyone needs one. It's
I
part of
want one,
history.
man. I want one so
It's a
badly.
great firearm. However, I'll say this. The right firearm depends on the person. You got to get the right one that's for you. But I do think it's a reminder that newer doesn't automatically mean better. Sometimes an older design sticks around because it actually works. Now, this is an old man thought. Sometimes the old design isn't outdated. We're just proven, reliable, dependable, like an old man. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, hit that like button, subscribe if you would. Let me know in the comments. Do you choose hammer fired, striker fired? What's your preference? Do you go after internet reliability or decades proven reliability? Which one you trust in your life to? Hey, greatly appreciate you viewing. I'm going to do some shooting. Hey, remember, be ready, be prepared, and be capable, providing your own 911. Hope y'all have a great
There's perhaps no two handguns more frequently compared than the SIG P226 and the Beretta 92, and that's for good reason. Both of these guns are similarly sized, similarly designed, and similarly purposed. Specifically, the Beretta 92 and the SIG P226 are both full-size 9mm handguns with aluminum alloy frames and steel slides, and both are hammer-fired guns that use double-action, single-action operating systems. Both guns also employ double-stack magazine configuration, and when they were introduced, held 15 rounds of 9mm. Nowadays, thanks to more sophisticated magazine designs, the original equipment manufacturer for both SIG and Beretta magazines, Mach-E, makes flush-fit magazines the same size and weight as the originals, but they hold 20% more ammunition, a whopping 18 rounds of 9mm. Both guns were designed in 1975, kind of. A very early version of the Beretta 92 that is significantly different from today's models was developed in 1975, while the single-stack predecessor to the SIG P226, known as the SIG P220, was also developed in 1975. Both guns saw a bevy of changes in the 1980s to modernize them, but more importantly, to outdo each other in competing for one of the most lucrative projects in gun history, the military's XM9 pistol program. Strangely enough, this Battle of the Titans started all because of a .38 Special revolver. The U.S. Air Force had previously adopted the Smith & Wesson Combat Masterpiece as the M15 revolver in 1963. After Vietnam, problems began to show up in the M15. Wear and tear in the revolvers meant costly maintenance, and double-action revolvers need skilled gunsmithing beyond the average armorer's level. Worse, the .38 ammunition the revolvers used was prone to squibbing and was not considered to have good stopping power. Therefore, in 1977, the Air Force had one simple request. They asked Congress for funding to develop a more powerful .38 Special cartridge to use in their service revolvers. But much like the trip to the liquor store for just a six-pack, the next thing they knew, the Air Force woke up the next morning in their front lawn after having texted their ex-girlfriend at least a dozen times the night before and with piss pants. The Air Force should have expected trouble when, in response to their request, a committee was formed. This committee determined that the U.S. Armed Forces used a whopping 25 different handguns at a number of different calibers across different branches. The Air Force's request for less shitty .38 Special was specifically denied, and instead, the DoD was instructed that they needed to select one handgun to rule them all, and in the darkness bind them. The DoD issued a series of requirements for this new pistol. It had to be chambered at 9mm with a minimum capacity of 13 rounds, double action, single action, and perhaps most importantly, they had to operate under adverse conditions and survive a 5,000 round test with no more than 8 malfunctions. All handgun manufacturers from NATO countries were invited to compete. This was the handgun equivalent of your parents being out of town in high school. A handgun house party. Notable entries included the Browning High Power, the Walther P88, the Smith & Wesson 459, and 3 H&K pistols, including the P7M13. SIG submitted the 226, which was designed specifically for this trial. Beretta entered the 92F in the competition, a modified version of the early 92S. It seemed like Beretta and SIG had both stumbled on the magic formula, but what flavor of magic formula would prevail? Marinara or Wiener Schnitzel? The parallels between
let's see. Can we take a look at that list? As you have obviously just IGB, Freak Professional with the Browning, Cull with the SSP, Walter with the P88, Heckler & Koch with the P7, Smith & Wesson with the 45M, P228, and then Beretta M92FS. I'm sorry, Ruger's not on here. I thought Ruger also wanted to be part of this, but maybe not. Maybe he came too late. Maybe he came too late to the party. Let's see what some of these look like. Let's see. We got Sig, Beretta, Heckler & Koch, Walter, PP88. Let's see. Well, yeah.
the P7M13. SIG submitted the 226, which was designed specifically for this trial. Beretta entered the 92F in the competition, a modified version of the early 92S. It seemed like Beretta and SIG had both stumbled on the magic formula, but what flavor of magic formula would prevail? Marinara or Wiener Schnitzel? The parallels between these two guns made this clash of fate inevitable. We all know that Beretta prevailed, but let's talk about the test results first, and then we'll go to the range where myself, James Reeves, and TFB camera guy / handgun instructor Ryan pit these guns against each other at an urban pistol engagement distance. Finally, I'll conclude the video with my opinion on these two guns personally. Back to the story after initial testing, the Beretta, the SIG, the FN, the HK P7M13, and the Smith & Wesson Model 459 made the cut to go to the Aberdeen Proving Grounds for the final torture test. One of the 3 Smith & Wesson test pistols had a frame crack at some point between 4,500 and 5,000 rounds, so it was eliminated. The HK P7M13 was eliminated because it was surprisingly less reliable than the 1911 it was supposed to replace, averaging only 158 mean rounds between stoppages, while the 1911 edged out the P7 with 162 mean rounds between stoppages. The 2 left standing were the Beretta and the SIG P226. Some of you may recall in my Would I Carry a Beretta video, I used some of this XM9 data to talk about the Beretta 92's reliability. Many of you noticed that while the Beretta performed very well, one gun performed better: the Seiko pistol. Consequently, there were a lot of questions in the comments about what the Seiko pistol was. Here's a picture of the Seiko. In fact, this was allegedly one of the Seikos from the test. And if it looks a lot like a SIG P226, it's because it is a SIG P226. Seiko Defense imported the SIG P226 for the trials, and they simply referred to it as a Seiko in the tests. If we look at the preliminary test results from 1981, all of the guns were evenly matched, more or less, and all of them failed to meet the desired 800 mean rounds between stoppages. However, in 1984, 2 guns pulled far, far, far away from the pack. You guessed it, the 226 and the Beretta 92. SIG redesigned the 226 firing pin between 1981 and 1984 because it was the main cause of nearly all of the malfunctions in 1981. Beretta removed an experimental Teflon internal coating from the 92.
So, one fixed the 5-pin spring, and this one Gotta wear some type of Teflon coating.
Suspected to have caused failures in the 1981 test. Both guns slayed reliability testing. The 92 went an astounding 1,750 average rounds between failures during its testing, almost 4 times as reliable as the next most reliable gun, the Smith & Wesson 459. But even Beretta's impressive number was eclipsed by the monster performance of the P226, which had only 1 failure after a whopping 2,877 rounds on average. And although the SIG outplayed the Beretta on straight volume testing, the Beretta was about 10% more reliable than the 226 in the mud portion of the test, most likely because of the Beretta's large 180-degree ejection port and nearly straight blowback action. Both of the guns were 100% reliable for the corrosion test, which involved dunking the guns in salt water and leaving them in a humidity chamber for 10 days. By 1984, testing was over. The SIG had a combined score of 853 points, compared with Beretta's close score of 835 points. So why did the government choose the Beretta 92 over the 226? Easy. It was less expensive. Thus, in 1985, the Beretta 92 became the new standard issue pistol for U.S. Armed Forces until it was replaced, ironically, by a SIG in
And like it was cheaper.
2017. The P226 didn't completely lose out, however. It was issued as the Mark 24 and the Mark 25 to the U.S. Navy SEALs, and according to my interview with Jack Carr, a retired Navy SEAL, it was the handgun that earned the full trust of the units deploying with it. Now that we've gone over the government's decision, which one do I personally think is better? Beretta 92 versus SIG 226? A little bit too close to call. I've got 2 of each. I have 2 226s and 9mm, and I've got 2 Beretta 92s, a 92 and a 92 compact. I love both of these guns. Same capacity, same weight, same caliber, same size, same color, same everything. Ultimately, it could come down to which one you just like the best, or maybe which one you shoot the best. So to find that out, Ryan and I took both these guns to the St. Bernard Indoor Shooting Center, did a very quick, very informal test to see if there was a vast discrepancy between the two of these in terms of shooting performance for both of us. We set targets up at 10 feet, 20 feet, and 30 feet, and we did some informal, semi-rapid shooting with both of these pistols, 5 rounds out of each one. We shot them, we added up the scores for each, we measured the groups for each, and then we kind of averaged the numbers all together to see if there is a difference in performance. Both pistols shot really well, as you can imagine, with long sight radius, long barrels, being relatively heavy, large, easy to control. They were both pretty easy to shoot. Ryan and I shot perfect scores at 10 feet with both guns. We shot near perfect or perfect scores at 20 feet. Inch groups or smaller at both those distances. Things opened up a little bit for both of us at 30 feet, but for the most part, both these guns shot very well and very closely in terms of overall performance. With the Beretta 92 at 10 feet, 20 feet, and 30 feet, adding all those scores together and averaging them, both myself and Ryan averaged a 48.6 out of 50, which is not too shabby. We also had the exact same group size, on average 1.6 inches. As I said, at 10 and 20 feet, it was basically 1 inch, and things opened up to a little bit over 2 inches once we got to 30 feet. Looking at the SIG, I almost got the exact same score of 48.3. Ryan got a 46.3, which is 2.3 points less than his Beretta score of 48.6 on average. But you have to bear in mind that Ryan doesn't have as much time as I do on a SIG P226 as somebody who's owned one for a long time. And while my score was just a little bit lower with the SIG, my groups were also just a little bit tighter with the SIG, 1.4 inches and 1.7 inches for Ryan. To summarize, we basically both shot the Beretta 92, perhaps marginally better than we did with the 226, but again, it was a super informal test, and the way I interpret those results is it's too close to call. We shot them both about the same. And I will say, overall shooting experience, I'm gonna have to give the edge to the Beretta. Even though the Beretta's single action trigger is slightly heavier, you're talking about a 5.25 pound single action trigger on this pistol versus a 4.5 pound single action trigger on my SIG 226. Ryan and I both happen to like the trigger better on the Beretta 92 than we did the SIG 226. With the 92, you're talking a lot of take up, and once you hit that wall, there's no more movement. Like once you get that trigger all the way to the back, there's no more movement until after you apply a little over 5 pounds of pressure. Now, if we want to look at objective differences, the Beretta 92 has a 1/2 inch longer barrel than the SIG P226. You're talking about roughly 4.5-inch barrel versus a 5-inch barrel in the Beretta 92, which could equate to 25 to maybe 50 at the high end, depending on ammo. 25 to 50 feet per second difference in velocity, so theoretically you should get more energy, albeit not a lot more, but more out of the Beretta 92. Again, a really close consideration. If you're going to suppress the gun, the Beretta 92 might be more attractive. At least it'll give you more options. With most Beretta 92s, unlike this clipped Beretta 92 LTT, you'll have enough barrel protruding from the front of the slide where you can actually thread that and thread a suppressor in place. I don't know that to be true, but I read it on the internet, so it must be reliable information. Also, an interesting thing is that because the Beretta 92 uses this falling block action, and you can see the barrel doesn't move much, at least it doesn't tilt with recoil. There are many suppressors where you don't need a Nielsen device or a booster device in order for them to function with the Beretta 92. Now, not all of them, and it's in fact a myth when people say, oh, you don't need a Nielsen device and you don't need a booster for a Beretta 92. That's actually not true. You still, most of the time, will probably need one, but with some suppressors, probably lighter suppressors, you don't. Related to that, the Beretta uses what's called a falling block design, and it's a little bit different. That's why it doesn't have a tilting barrel. It's got a little block that falls out of place. It keeps the chamber locked up until it hits a certain point. Then there's a little block here situated under the barrel that kind of slides out of place, and that'll allow the slide to separate from the barrel. Many of us are more familiar with the SIG 226's action, and you have all the locking happening right here where the chamber meets the slide. The barrel tilts down to unlock, and then whenever the gun's finishing up its recoil process, the barrel slides into place and locks. So it's a little bit more simpler device, and that's why, just purely speculation, I would say that the SIG is ultimately going to be maybe more reliable, just as they found out in the XM9 test, but possibly more durable, because you don't have to worry about that locking block in the Beretta. You don't have to worry about replacing a component like that that's attached to the barrel. And I guess while we're beating up on the 92, another thing that's a little annoying about the 92 is most Beretta 92s have the front sight actually milled into the slide. Now, Beretta has in recent years moved away from that, but most of the Beretta 92s that are out there in circulation, you're not going to be able to change the front sight on it. What I like about the 226, it's got no safety, but it does have a decocker that's really easy to use. See that? You can easily manipulate it one-handed. With the Beretta, you can get a 92F or a 92G. The 92F is going to have a safety, and the 92G is going to have a decocker, but that's up here, and it's slide mounted, which to me is a little bit more annoying than frame mounted and a little bit harder to use. Plus, it adds some width, as you can see on both sides of the Beretta 92. It's a little chunky, especially if you get an ambidextrous one like this. So that to me is another knock against the 92, although that won't bother most people. Relatedly, I was bouncing through government documents trying to find more evaluations of the Beretta 92 against the SIG 226 to see what police departments or federal law enforcement agencies had to say about the performance of either, and I found a very interesting article from the Sacramento Police Department. They were replacing their revolvers in 1986, and they wanted to go with auto loaders. They had not.
Let's see, boy. 1988. Sacramento Police Department, man. Oh no, wait, 1986. Dated 1988.
9 auto loaders that they were evaluating. The 2 finalists were, of course, you guessed it, the SIG P226 and the Beretta 92. Interestingly, the 2 dispositive elements for the Sacramento PD when they were deciding between the 226 and the 92 was the fact that the 92 had an external slide-mounted safety that they feel would be difficult perhaps for an officer to disengage while under stress. They also like the fact that the SIG P226 had a slightly lighter single-action trigger, and those were basically the tiebreakers. I guess I would say that most people would agree the Beretta 92 might be slightly easier to shoot. You also have those factors I mentioned. If you're going to suppress this pistol, it's just a really smooth gun, preeminently Italian, from the oldest gun manufacturer in the world, and it's an excellent pistol. It did win the XM9 competition, although on a cost basis. The 226, the sidearm of the Navy SEALs, pretty hard to beat that endorsement. Perhaps a simpler operating mechanism, perhaps going to make it a little bit more reliable and a little bit more durable, and it did have better reliability numbers in the test. and I also like the controls better. We shot them about the same, they weigh the same, they look the same, they cost the same, they smell the same, they taste the same. Whatever. Just get whichever one you like. Maybe take it out to the range, shoot both of them, figure it out. In conclusion, I'm really skeptical of anyone who would say the 226 is better than the 92, or the 92 is objectively better than the 226, so on and so forth.
So it doesn't seem like, you know, either pistol is better. It's just kind of up to you. Like, I feel like maybe, I think most people probably want this one because it's very simple to use. It's much more closer to like a Glock, you know, just very simple controls. I think that manual safety, even though it is, makes it more safer. Most people don't know how to use it.
In fact, if you're a real masochist, I mean, if you just absolutely hate yourself, then do what I did before I made this video. Look up SIG P226 versus Beretta 92 and check out the absolute pecker pulling that goes on in a lot of these forums. Ultimately, what it is we like what we like, and if somebody else doesn't like it, we don't like it.
That's it. Yeah, TED Talk. Joey had a TED Talk. Didn't know that. Let's see.
Stories from furry strangers on Bark. Let's read one. I was stuck in standstill Bronx traffic. So during that time, I decided to check the Bark app while I waited. And apparently, there was a furry 0 feet away from me. So out of curiosity, I checked their profile, saw they were 22, and started looking around other vehicles to see if anybody fit that description. Eventually, I found someone who looked the part and started waving to them, waiting for them to see me. And once they did, I slowly picked up my phone and showed the Bark app. And the person in the other car's jaw dropped. So they liked me back. We talked a bit, talked about the traffic. We just thought it was funny that we bonded over both being furries stuck in sample traffic. So thanks to Bark for giving me that little interaction. Also, buy our plushie, link in bio. Stories from furry strangers on Bark.
Let's see.
Dude, somebody's trying to tell me that Naruto was political, and that doesn't make any sense. Like, what does a dude wanting to be the Hokage have to do with politics? Like, dude, you know Hokage is a government job, right? Like,
I hate this guy. Like, he's annoying. Like, fuck, I need to get that. I need this guy off my goddamn screen. God, please. You call Joey a colonizer. What the fuck? How's he a goddamn colonizer? I mean, I know he's half Australian, but they got colonized. And he's also Japanese. Cheapest suit I've ever found. Ooh.
This is probably one of the best deals I've ever found. go ahead and get into it. The cheapest SIG I've ever found in my life right here, and I did not hesitate to buy this thing once I figured out what it actually was. And today I'm going to tell you the pros and cons as I see it. I'm going to tell you a little bit of how this pistol came to be, and at the end, I'm going to tell you how much I paid for it. I kind of had in my mind, like, you know, you guys don't Google it and just say what you think it's worth, and then at the end kind of make an edit and be like, oh, holy crap, I can't believe it's that low, or, you know, I don't think it's worth that anyways, you know, whatever. Because when it comes to SIG, they are typically more expensive. Either way, if you like this type of content, reviews on rifles, pistols, concealed carry, honest gun reviews, trusted gun reviews, right here, man, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit your notifications so you never miss a video from me. So the way this pistol comes about is kind of interesting because, you know, the German police at the time are carrying the Walther PP, which has been around since 1929. And so it's also chambered in 32 ACP, which for stopping power and penetration purposes isn't going to do a good job. It's not going to do nearly the job that 9mm will. Now, I had read that the massacre at the Olympics in Munich played a role in this whole thing as well. The German military actually has the P1 at the time, which is just an alloy version of the World War II P38. So Walther says, hey, you need a 9mm with the decocker? We got you. And it's a single stack. They cut the barrel a little bit, they put a decocker on it, boom, here you go. It did get a designation as the P4, but it wasn't what the West German police were looking for. So it came down to three companies: SIG, Walther, H&K. H&K has the P7. Walther has the newly redesigned P5, which kind of still uses the action of the P38, but it looks much different than the P38 in appearances. All three of which would be accepted, but this being the most popular option. It does, by the way, have a decocker, which is one of the requirements that the West German police wanted. Double to single action there. We will talk about that while looking a hammer back here a little bit. But we're going to try the double action. It's got a 24-pound mainspring in it. So, yeah. I don't expect to hit anything. Oh, hey, that wasn't too bad. That's actually pretty good. Take your time with it.
I'm not sure why he's pressing the decocker after each one. I don't know.
Wow. Holy crap. Yeah, those the top shots on that target are the double action, which is pretty crazy. Now, granted, I'm in a controlled environment. Nobody's shooting back at me. There's no suspect. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit different if you were to have to use this in self-defense or as a police officer in West Germany at the time. But still, that's not too bad. It is super heavy, though. And JP Sauer came into this whole thing because the Swiss had some pretty strict export rules on military firearms. So that's how it became Sig Sauer. And they used this gun from, oh man, you know, the late 70s all the way up until, yeah, the early 2000s when they got rid of this for the H&K P8. And so you'll notice with those markings right there, 5 of 80. So May of 1980 is when this one was actually approved. This is the police department it went to. And there's the P6 designation. You have 371, which is the last three of the serial number on the barrel right there and on the frame of the gun. You also have a couple proof marks right there under the dust cover. So what is this gun? It's basically a slightly modified version of the 225, right? You have a single stack gun. You have serrations, of course, back here in the rear. And just like most pistols of the day, there's very little to no contrast in the sights. Low profile, it does have, of course, the decocker, which was important. Fake light style grips here. And they actually, you know, SIG did make a 225A1 that they came out with in like 2015. And none of those parts will fit in a 225 or a P6. Magazine release right there. It's serrated, 8 rounds, single stack magazine, and those magazines just pop right out of the gun. You got a little bit of serration right there on the front, and then some checkering on the back strap there as well. Slide stop right there. Of course, you can drop it just like that. Breakdown of the gun, slide it forward.
I mean, this one looks really damn cool. I mean, I really want to get my hands on some sick pistols.
They use like a hollow metal guide rod here, so that's one of the upgrades you can do. You can do a solid one if you want to add a little bit more weight to the front of the gun. Might keep the muzzle down just a little bit more too. You actually have your firing pin block right there, and then there's the internals. So you got full length rails right there, and pretty simple design overall. Now you may have already noticed something, maybe you haven't, but that hammer. See that little spur right there? Before I started doing research, I didn't know what to think. You know, my first guess is a lanyard loop that's in a really bad location, but that doesn't make much sense. Come to find out, they made the hammer like this to essentially be a weak point on the gun. So if this gun is dropped so many times and that breaks off, then you know you have a potential issue with the firing pin. So that was their indicator for a pistol that's been dropped one too many times. So I was
Interesting.
like,
That's pretty cool. I did not know that.
why are they having so many issues dropping the guns? Well, they were using outdated holsters from World War II. And so they get these new designed holsters that apparently are not great when they first came out. And a lot of police officers were actually dropping the pistols, or they would fall out of those holsters while they were training or on the job or whatever. And that would lead to the pistol falling out of the holster, boom, breaking off. So there you go. That's why it's got that weird, not really spur, but just weird cutout in the hammer back there. Putting it back together, boom, simple, no need to pull the trigger or anything like that. Speaking of the trigger, and that wind feels nice. It's like 110 out here with the heat index. Brutal. Man, it's limited in capacity, but it's got a nice, relatively short well, not really a short reset. I kind of take that back, but it's manageable. It's not crazy.
All I know is a 6-hour P6. Hopefully, I can find one of these. Just like making out of pistols, you know, cheap.
So as you can see, I was pretty stoked with how that actually turned out, man. With the double action, I don't shoot double action that well. Actually, I was like super shocked when we shot that Korth recently, and I was like, dude, this is amazing, you know, because like I said, typically double action, I am not the best with. You know, if you see me ever with a double action gun, and I'm kind of like this, and I'm taking a shot, boom, boom, and then I do like this and don't even say anything, yeah, you know I'm like, okay, screw this, I'm just going to single action. But it is heavy, right? And I'm not saying that I wouldn't change it, and that is something I want to talk about, some of the upgrades you can do, but it does have a heavy double action in that gun. And so that is a design that is on purpose, right? So I did shoot a little bit compared to my 229 Legion. What a nice shooting gun. And an expensive gun. Which is still one of the most beautiful guns I own. And I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a size reference here to the 229. They're really similar. Obviously, the 229 is much newer, but they are very similar. Put them on their backs. Check that out. If we look at the weight, zero it out here. There we go. All zeroed out. Look at the weight. Hey, let's look at the weight of the PP first. Let's see how much that weighed. 1 pound, 8 ounces right there.
If I had a really good job, I bet you you can get my hands on some of these cool ass guns, pistols and AKs and all that. Even if it costs like a couple $1,000, I could probably like. There's probably a way to like. I wonder. There's probably like way to do like layaway or like partial
These are
payments or something
unloaded
like that.
weights, of course. P6, 1 pound, 12 ounces right there. Let's look at the 229. 1 pound, 15 ounces, right? So it's pretty heavy, but 229 almost doubles the capacity of the P6. Hell, just for giggles there, let's see what the P38 is. 2 pounds, 1 ounce. Yeah, she's a heavy girl. But again, on the P1, they use an alloy frame, which lightens it up. If you look at, let's just say, a modern carry gun, something like this Shadow, which has 2 more rounds than the P6, or 1 pounds, 1 ounce, right? So obviously different designs, different errors, polymer frame, you know, all of that. So I'm not sitting here saying, oh my God, this thing is a heavy piece of junk. But I am saying, you know, just to kind of show the advancements from something like a P38 or even a Walther PP to something like the P6. All in all, the P6, man, is the cheapest gun I have ever found. And any of the West German SIGs are typically really expensive. And so I looked up the price of this gun. Here is the double action up close, by the way. Whew. Here's the single action, though. Reset. Boom. Little bit of take up right there before you actually get to the wall to shoot it again. All in all, a very good shooter for what it is. And I'm kind of used to shooting those very little contrast sights. You know, shooting all my World War II guns, none of them have good sights at all. So it just kind of is what it is. Upgrades to the gun. You can, of course, lighten this mainspring significantly. You can upgrade the sights. And again, all your P225 parts will work with the P6, not the 225A1. You can again change that guide rod if you want to. You can go with a reduced reach trigger, which will shave most of this off. SIG still does this, you know, to this day actually. With the reduced reach, you can do the short reset trigger. So there's a lot you can actually do here to make this into a viable concealed carry option. It's going to be a little bit heavier and a little bit lighter as far as the round count, but if you like double to single action guns, concealed carry guns, this can be a really fantastic option. And some of y'all have asked me for more DA to SA reviews, so here you go. Pros, the price. How much did I pay for this gun? I hope that you put your guesses in already, but I paid $350 for this gun.
And what was
When I
this?
looked them up through
2 years
various
ago.
places that are selling them, $675, $700, $1,000 is some of the going rates that I've seen on these guns, which is insane. That's like 225A1 prices, which those were fairly expensive as well. So $350, that's a freaking steal. I like the trigger in it. I think it's got a decent trigger for what it is. And it feels really good in the hand, right? It's not the lightest or anything like that, but for what they needed at the time, this thing almost feels like a full-size gun to me personally. And when you're coming from something like the PP, I can only imagine those police departments were like, dude, this is light years better, the P6 anyways, than something like the PP. These things are small and they will slide bite you constantly, right? So I didn't have that issue at all with this gun, even though it doesn't have an extended beaver tail like some of your modern guns. It still did not bite my hand at all, and it's super comfortable in the hand. So I think all in all, man, this is a fantastic piece, and it's a piece of history. Now, unfortunately, one of the cons is it's got that import mark. So in the 2000s, you know, there was a few places importing these. Century International was the primary importer, right? But they changed it to CAI instead of CIA because they didn't want people to think that these were old CIA surplus guns, which is, again, kind of funny. But, you know, coming from somebody that collects World War II guns, and import marks are like like just drop the value, you know, I understand, but again, I hate that they have to go through and do that crap, because it doesn't ruin the gun. Like, all of these guns have import marks, but I just don't like it being there, right? I like it as original as possible. Another con, obviously, that double action.
I mean, it sucks, but but you're one of these rare dudes who, you know, who are probably like 10 or 20 years older than me, probably has a really good job and was able to buy all these pistols and rifles for so cheap, for like $200, man. I don't know why you're complaining, man. You had it easy. Millennials never had anything. Even if you want to buy guns, most of all the shit's gone. The Mosin's gone, the AKs are gone, the AR-15 gone, all the pistols, revolvers, all the ammo. All the shit's gone, man. It fucking sucks, dude.
It's shootable,
Yeah.
but
You
it's
should stop
still
bitching.
just way too heavy. I understand why they did it, but at the same time, not a fan. You know, I was thinking that this hammer design was an issue, but I think it's more so they didn't want the hammer to have been dropped, breaking the firing pin, and there being hidden damage on the inside of here, and then a police officer has to use this unknowingly, having a defective pistol that won't work in the first place. So I kind of understand why they did that, but you do create a weak point on the gun itself. And so I think better holsters actually mitigated a lot of that issue with these guns being dropped. Overall, a fantastic gun, cool piece of history, a little Cold War action here, and I'm proud to have it. Now, if you like this type of content, maybe you'll like one of these videos up in here or over here, World War II content, and some updated.
Alright.
What's going on YouTube? Today's video is going to be over the SIG M18, also known as the P320 Compact. So what makes this different from your standard SIG M18 is that this is actually a contract gun, meaning that this is built on the same assembly line and made to the same specifications as the gun that is being issued to various branches in the military, particularly the Marine Corps, who opted to go with the compact SIG M18 over the SIG M17 that the other branches are using more prominently. So, what makes this different than
I
the
wonder if
commercial
both
version? Well,
is the M18 also having the same problems as the M17? Can you fix them? Yeah,
a few photos here I took And this was over at 417 Guns in Springfield, Missouri. He was kind enough to let me take some photos of my gun next to a commercial SIG M18, which he had in stock. And there's a few things that you'll notice right off the bat. Mainly the color of the slide is different. And I'm not going to pretend like I know what exact coating this is or what the differences in the coating are between the commercial version and this one. Sometimes just between batches of guns, things like FDE colors will change, but there is a pretty noticeable difference from what I can see online of this batch of guns that SIG released on the commercial market. So typically, whenever you buy a commercial SIG M18, it will say P320 on the side, as it is just a tan commercial P320 essentially. But this one lacks the P320 markings. It only has the M18 and SIG Sauer, and it also has a manufacturer number and a part number. So, which the commercial gun obviously does not. And one way that you can tell right off the bat if you're dealing with a commercial gun or a contract gun is the serial number prefix. All of the military M18s that I've seen thus far have the TC serial number prefix, whereas the commercial guns do not. And obviously this will have all the same features as the commercial gun, the manual safety. It's a striker fired 9mm. Comes with 3 mags. The other ones in the box, I believe these are 22 rounders, if I remember correctly. So another difference that you'll notice is the rear sight. So when I first saw these pistols, I incorrectly assumed that the rear sight and the optic mounting plate or the optic cover plate were actually 2 different pieces. So I believed that you could keep your rear sight and mount a red dot. And actually that turns out to not be the case. Just like on the commercial version, these are 1 piece. And so when you remove the cover plate to install an optic, you lose your rear sight. Not that it really matters, since it's cut for a Leupold Delta Point Pro, which you can install its own rear sight on, and in which case you'll have to install a different front sight anyway. But that is something that I noticed and was kind of surprised at, because they did change the design of the rear sight, and I'll clip in a photo of that here. On the commercial version, the rear sight actually overhangs onto the plate a lot more, and it's more obvious that they're 1 piece. But on this version, they trimmed the rear sight back for whatever reason, and the way that the plate attaches is also slightly different. So on this contract version, I believe there's 1 screw holding the rear sight assembly on and this plate, and it's hidden underneath the striker channel, or in the striker channel. Whereas on the commercial version, there's actually 2 screws, which are located on either side of the striker channel on the inside of the slide. So you actually have to disassemble the gun to remove this plate. So, other than those few obvious differences that I just pointed out, the only other big difference between the 2 versions of the gun is the packaging they come in. Another dead giveaway that you have a contract gun is that it will come in a rather plain cardboard box, whereas the commercial guns will come in a gray plastic SIG hard case. So with the military packaging, there are no frills. It just gets the job done, delivers it to the end consumer. But with the commercial guns, they try and present them a little bit nicer. So,
there's a way to buy the military M18? So, or do you got to get it from someone? Okay.
You'll also get a few extras in here, paperwork, a gun lock, and stuff that I don't believe comes with the guns that they send to the military. But since they did make these for the commercial market, they pulled them from the assembly line where the military guns are made. They did include some of the stuff that the civilian guns do come with. And you can see all that down here. So anyway, that is about all I have to say on this gun at the moment. Haven't even shot it yet, just picked it up from my FFL. If you have any questions about it, feel free to drop them down below in the comments. If you know more about the actual functional difference,
Right.
differences between the commercial and the military guns, feel free to educate us down below in the comments. I'd be happy to hear your guys' thoughts and any info that you've come across. And as always, like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.
God, my nose. Hey, man, I don't know why my nose just keeps there's way too much mucus right now. Especially one of the nostrils. It's kind of annoying right now.
I get comments like this not infrequently, and I mostly just ignore them, but I do occasionally stop to think about these things, and I wanted to address it at least once, not because I'm offended by it, but because I think it is a really good example of how people tend to use mentally ill as like a lazy label for things that make them uncomfortable. Because if you label something as a disorder, you don't have to be curious about it, and you don't have to ask yourself why people are drawn to it. Furry does not just look weird, it looks weird in a way that violates a lot of the rules that people are taught about adulthood. Like, adults are supposed to be controlled, and adults are supposed to be productive, and expressive only in socially approved ways, like sports and drinking and Halloween and bachelor parties and like Disney trips with your kid. But furry is adults being playful and sincere in a way that has not been like pre-approved by society. So calling it a mental illness becomes a way to put the world back in order. It says like, I'm normal because I would never do that, and they're broken because they would. So I think the more interesting question that you should be asking is not what is wrong with these people, it's actually how do people actually get here? Because almost nobody starts at, I want to spend $10,000 on a fursuit. Step one is usually seeing something online and immediately filing it.
Man, I wish I could spend 10K on a fursuit. I'll at least get a partial, man.
Under weird furry shit. Maybe it's like a drawing, maybe it's a fursuit, and your first reaction is absolutely not. That's not for me. Those are those weird internet people I've been warned about, not touching that with a 10-foot pole. And that makes sense because most people's first exposure to furry is not through somebody like calmly explaining the fandom to them. It's through the internet pointing and laughing. So you move on. But then maybe one day you see a piece of art that catches your eye. Maybe it's like the design or the softness or the confidence, but you don't really have like the emotional language to explain why you like it yet, so you just reject it. But, and here's the important part, the algorithm doesn't give a shit about what you think, and it saw you pause for like half a second longer, and so now you see a little bit more. And every time you see something more, you keep telling yourself you're not into it, you're just observing, you're here ironically. And then maybe one day you like meet an actual furry in person. Maybe you see someone at a fursuit at a convention, or just like out in public somewhere, and maybe your first thought is still, that person is insane. And maybe you even walk up to them because you think it'll be funny to get a picture with the weird animal person, and then you start to talk to them, and they're like nice. They're like annoyingly nice. They let you take a picture, they make your day a little bit weirder, but also like a little bit brighter. And suddenly this mental image of like those people are mentally ill freaks is a lot harder to keep in your mind when your only experience with the furry is just some sweet creative dude in a dog costume who made you laugh one time. The furry pipeline is not usually as dramatic as people imagine. It's not like one day waking up and deciding that you're a wolf. It's more like, I don't get this. And then, okay, I get why someone might like this. And then, okay, maybe I just like this one specific artist. Okay, maybe I commissioned one piece of art. And then suddenly you're the one explaining to your friends that no, it's not a mascot costume. It's actually a personal character character with emotional significance and custom ventilation. So no, furries are not mentally ill. I think furry gives people permission to be a little bit more expressive than the normal world just usually allows. But just because you might not jive with that particular form of self-expression doesn't automatically make it pathological. And I think furry looks insane from the outside because sincerity looks insane in a culture where everyone is terrified of being cringe. And also, lastly, to the person who commented this originally, just the fact that I showed up on your algorithm means you're already past step 1. So when you're ready, let me know if you need help finding a fursuit maker to commission. Hope to catch you at a con sometime. I get comments like this not infrequently, and I mostly just ignore them, but I do occasionally stop to think about these things.
Let's see. Anything else? Let's see. I like this car a lot. Let's see what we can do about it. This is the car you want to buy like in the future. Maybe like in 2027 when this thing comes a little more cheaper and get my hands on one. Let's see. Let's check this out.
This video is brought to you by Recurrent, an essential EV tool that gives free access to TFL EV viewers in the US. With Recurrent, EV shoppers can check range and battery info on used cars. EV owners can connect to compare their range and battery health to similar vehicles. And EV sellers can use Recurrent to get more money for their sales. With Recurrent, we can find, drive, and sell electric cars positively. Click on the link in the description below to get free access to Recurrent's amazing EV tools. 5 years ago, Ford dropped a bomb on Mustang fans in the form of the Ford Mustang Mach-E. This is genuinely one of the most controversial cars of my lifetime. But in the past 5 years, these cars have become less controversial and more just regular traffic. So, was this car worthy of all the controversy?
One of the main reasons was because of the badge. Not this badge, the Mach-E, but this one right here, the Mustang. Since 1965, the Mustang has been one of the top-selling sports cars, selling over 10 million units. But the key word here is sports car. That ain't no sports car.
So, Jen, my favorite rule in the book is if you're gonna break a law, only break one law at a time.
Yeah, I mean, that makes the most sense, right?
Like, if you're gonna steal a puppy, don't speed while doing it.
Right.
Right? Because then you get caught. And that was the issue that Ford did with the Mustang Mach-E, is they broke 2 rules at the time.
You can't do that, Tommy.
First of all, they had the 4-door Mustang SUV, right? Which already made people pretty grumpy. But then they made it electric.
Yeah, see, if they had just called this the Mach-E, no laws would have been broken.
Golden.
It would have been fine.
Yeah.
But it's just like they had to not only stabbed you, but they twisted it.
Exactly right. But we're going to move past that for just a sec and talk about this car, because it's actually been a pretty big seller and a pretty big success for Ford. And I think part of that is because they are leveraging that Mustang brand a little bit, but part of it too is it was like the right car at the right time, right? It's a smallish SUV
that's pretty fast and it's all electric.
That's true, and pretty fast is no joke. 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds. That ain't bad. This Mach-E is the premium with the Sport Appearance Package, which means it looks like a GT, but it's not. It's got a couple things that come along with that appearance package, one of which are these 19-inch gloss black wheels with, you see some spicy red back here, we got Brembo brakes. It's also got a GT Sport-inspired front fascia and this gloss black closed-off grille. Plus, it's got a big old spoiler on the back. But as far as it looking like a Mustang, not so much. The only thing that kind of resembles anything of a Mustang would be these taillights.
Now listen, Jen is on the money. I think that it's a little bit of a stretch to say that this looks like a quote-unquote proper Mustang. However, I will say compared to a lot of the other relatively small electric blobs on the road, I'm kind of looking at you, ID4, this is a pretty attractive vehicle with one exception. If you don't get a GT or a Rally, you get these 225 width tires that look ridiculous following it down the road. And I know it's for efficiency and that's great, but it just looks silly when you're behind one. So Jen, the thing about the Mustang Mach-E lineup is like the base car and the top dog Rally could really not be more different for the performance.
Very different cars, for sure.
So this one is interesting, right? Because it's got the performance appearance, but it doesn't have the full GT powertrain.
No, I mean, and the horsepower is still not bad. 325 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque, so she moves.
Yeah, it really boogies. I mean, I think you said 0 to 60 in the low 4-second range.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And then what about the range on this car?
So range is...
Who's that girl in the back?
It's about 300 miles for this all-wheel drive option that we have, which some people may think is not enough, and honestly, it's probably fine for most for a day-to-day.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's important that Ford has done with this car is they've really improved it over the past 5 years. So like at launch, it was a pretty capable machine, but they've improved the charging a lot, they've improved Blue Cruise a lot, and that keeps getting better and better with over-the-air updates, and they've also now, for 2025, given all trims a heat pump as well, so like they're working on changing things around a little bit.
That is definitely helpful, but charging is still kind of slow, only 150 kilowatts for DC fast charging.
Which was pretty good, you know, a few years ago, but by 25 standards, that could definitely be better.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to the interior, I actually like the interior quite a bit. One of the other things you get with the Sport Appearance Package is this red stitching throughout the interior, as well as these sport pedals, which
I mean, it looks really good. Like the inside looks so damn nice.
I do like a lot. It's pretty open in here. You do still get quite a few cubbies, which I like. Plus the screens are huge. You know, in a lot of these electric vehicles, you're only getting like one screen, but you do get a 10.2-inch little instrument cluster. It gives you all of the necessary information that you might need. But you do get a 15.5-inch huge vertical infotainment screen that comes with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Plus it has a built-in volume dial, which I think looks pretty cool. However, it definitely does not pass my test for physical buttons for the temperature controls.
The back seat in the Mach-E, actually pretty roomy when it comes to legroom. My driving position at 6 feet tall, it's pretty good. And headroom, they got a little bit of a sneaky trick going on over here.
Sorry.
Mary's broken me. If you look at the roof on a Mach-E, this portion is black, this portion is blue, and the idea here is by painting this black, it kind of disguises the actual roof line. So even though it looks pretty sporty, I actually have pretty good headroom at 6 feet tall. The one thing I do have to complain about with this interior is these seats. They don't feel very premium. They got some, as Jen would say, it's got some squish factor to it, but they're a little kind of shapeless, both front and back. But apart from that, Jen is 100% right about the interior. It's actually pretty usable. It just needs a couple more buttons in here. Now, Jen, kind of coming back to where we started with this video, if I were to blindfold you and put you behind the wheel, you would crash.
Don't do that.
However, before you crashed, would you be able to tell that this drove like a Mustang?
No.
Okay. So what does it drive like?
It drives like a crossover electric SUV. It doesn't drive like, you know, a GT Mustang.
No, I mean, it doesn't even drive like an EcoBoost Mustang. I would say it's kind of interesting because a lot of people remember the Mustang as being this like fire-breathing sports car back in the day, but the reality is it was just kind of a normal car that happened to be in some cases really fast. And that's very similar to this.
And like, I mean, I understand why a lot of people aren't like very happy about using the Mustang name, but it helps help sell stuff, you know.
Right? It's just kind of a normal car that accelerates really, really fast.
But that's for most EVs.
Yes.
You know, most EVs are going to have all that torque behind you, so you can get there pretty quickly, but doesn't mean that it deserves, you know, something like a Mustang badge. When it comes to comparing this to the normal Mustang, one of the biggest differences you'll find is cargo space, because that's not something you would buy a regular Mustang for. In the back of the Mach-E, there it is, got 30 cubic feet of cargo space behind that second row, but with the second row folded down, jumps to 60 cubic feet, which is no joke for a tiny little crossover. Underneath the floor here, we do have a tire mobility kit. You're not going to find a spare, which is pretty common for most EVs, and we do have the charging cables. But let's check out the front. Oh, look at that, Tommy. We have enough room for an Andre cowboy hat. Which is a lot better than, you know, some of the other vehicles. I think I just did a Loveland Trials in an EV6 and we could fit 3 baguettes in there, and that was about it.
It's perfect for your Stetson.
Yeah, so this is a decent amount of room for the front. You could fit a little weekend bag in there, but not a whole much more.
Got a little RuPaul, less cowboy. There we go. And the good thing about this front trunk, too, is because it's plastic lined, in theory, with this little drain, you could fill this thing with ice. Have a little tailgate, and the ice water would drain out the bottom.
That'd be pretty sweet. And then washer fluid fill up, pretty easy right there. Do like that.
So something that not a lot of people know about Jan is her name's really Jen.
It's Jen.
But they also don't know, the people don't know that you grew up around Mustangs.
I did. You know, well, my mom had a horse growing up. So not an actual, like,
literal Mustang.
But she did, back in 2008, she did get a 2008 Mustang GT convertible. So we did have a Mustang for a while, but this does not drive like that, Tommy. See, I have no qualms with the Mach-E at all. I think this is actually a great vehicle. It's very comfortable. It's very quiet. I think the dash is pretty nice.
What is that
I
noise?
just don't know that the correlation between Mustang and the Mach-E is quite there.
Now, all of that aside, I agree with
That
you
rain?
very much about how this thing drives. It actually is very smooth and very quiet and very refined. It is also very soft, right? So like it doesn't encourage you to go around the corner.
No.
Much.
No, I'm not trying to
excitement.
kick the back end out while I'm going through a corner.
No, exactly right. And it's a fairly kind of subdued driving experience. That being said, if you just want like a comfy car to cruise around town in, this is probably going to do that.
Yeah, no, like I said, this is, I think, an all-around great car. There's no issues with the car. It's just what they call it.
So, as we cruise through this torrential sudden rainstorm,
Not ideal.
let's talk about the competition to this car, because it's a pretty competitive segment.
It is. So, you know, of course, we've got the Model Y. We've got the EV6, the ID4, the Ioniq 5.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of good competition. This is one of the less expensive of those four, though.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how you spec them, but certainly like Chevrolet with the Blazer, right? Honda with the Prologue, if you want a Honda Chevrolet. So, the really steep competition. Now, from where you're sitting, Jen, what do you think? Would you get this over the Model Y?
Yes, absolutely. But that's also, Tommy, because I worked at Tesla, and I know the workings behind the Teslas and the Model Ys, and don't get me wrong, when they work, but this just has more of a car feeling to it. In a Tesla, I feel like you're just kind of driving a computer, which this is essentially the same. It's just this feels more like a car. You know, you actually have a power start stop button. You have an actual key fob. You know, the dash looks really great. I just feel like more connection to this than I do over a Model Y.
All right, Jennifer. So, the Mustang Mach-E, very controversial 5 years ago. Is it still controversial today, or have you come to peace?
I've come to peace, but I think it's more so I've come to acceptance. So I think the Mach-E is great, but the Mustang badge is a little much. Imagine Camaro came back and they made it into a little crossover that was only an EV. Do you think that would go over well?
Like
calling it a Camaro?
Yeah, like anything, I think that it's gonna upset the purists for sure, and I think that there is some validity there. But I also think it's a pretty good little car, especially little. It's a pretty good small crossover. You know, it's pretty fast. It's pretty comfortable. It holds quite a lot of things. And I think the improvements that they've made over the past few years have made it better. But it's still a lot of money, over $50,000 in this spec.
Yes, you can get one for just under 40 grand.
Good.
But
That's good.
this premium with all of the options is a little over 53. So that is a lot.
Yeah. So pretty big money for this particular Mustang. But if you get one on the bottom end of the spectrum, I think it's a good deal. Keeping in mind that tax credit's going away federally, so you gotta keep that in mind.
True, true.
All right, folks, let us know what you think in the comments section down yonder, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Ho, 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 ho. I don't know what I was gonna say. Cool.
Why did they call it the Mustang then? Was it being dumb?
You know that phrase, paint me like one of your French girls?
Have you seen Titanic?
I have, but I don't remember that scene.
Yeah.
Does she paint her like with a flag?
What?
Does she like paint the French tricolor?
Let's see. Let's see. What the hell is this Chinese person? Is there anything else good? Anything that we want? Wimpy. Sinking City 2. Oh, hey, I'm glad that game's getting a sequel. I remember a lot of people liking that game franchise many years ago. Oh, man. Wait. I'm gonna make the joke. Let's see if someone else has made the joke. Cool Angels says playing. Can't wait for Tokyo 3. Damn it! Awesome. You already done it. Name it Tokyo 3. Name it Tokyo 3. Name it. Let's see. Name it Tokyo Furry. Every day being closer to the third impact. Tokyo 2, Dead Sea Scrolls. Oh, yeah. Take a Aka. Kyoto, am I joke to you? Preparing to build Tokyo 3 has a submarine called Zero Front. Getting the effing Tokyo 3 Shinji. Can't wait. I wonder if anyone else.
Capital city seems to be pretty fashionable at the moment. Among the countries relocating or considering relocating their capitals in some form are Egypt, Indonesia, Mongolia, Zimbabwe, and Iran. But Japan is also having a similar conversation. In fact, the Japanese government has just put forward a bill that would designate a second capital city, effectively a backup capital that can carry out the core functions of government if Tokyo were to be incapacitated by a catastrophic natural disaster, whether that's an earthquake, tsunami, typhoon, or kaiju emerging from the deep. Okay, no more Godzilla references. The move also
Should have said Angel, my friend.
Centralization and over-reliance on Tokyo. So in this video, we're going to take a look at Japan's over-reliance on Tokyo, explain the government's second capital plan, and why it might not be the easiest of political fights. Description. Tokyo, Japan's capital, is massive. The city proper has a population of over 14 million people. But if you look at the Greater Tokyo area, i.e. the wide and urban area, the estimated population is in the mid to high 30 millions, putting it among the largest urban agglomerations in the world. Unsurprisingly then, Japan is really centralized in and arguably over-reliant on Tokyo. It's Japan's economic and financial center, with half of all listed Japanese companies based in the city, and is a major driver of economic growth. It's also the home of the Japanese government and its political institutions, and is a real population magnet, with nearly a third of Japan's populace living in Greater Tokyo. Obviously, given that Tokyo is the capital, this probably doesn't seem that unusual, but it does generate problems. Firstly, Japan's economic and human concentration in Tokyo means that other parts of Japan are being hollowed out, something exacerbated by the country's demographic crisis. Due to low birth rates, Japan's population has been aging and declining. At the same time, the Greater Tokyo area is pulling in young, working-age Japanese
Don't forget, they have not done anything about immigration
from around the country, contributing to the depopulation of smaller towns, villages, and rural areas, which then face problems like labour shortages, economic stagnation, and more. Just 7 of Japan's 47 prefectures recorded population growth in 2025, and 4 of them are in Greater Tokyo. The second problem with Japan's Tokyo-centric setup is that it makes the country much more vulnerable in the event of a major natural disaster. Tokyo is considered one of the world's most disaster-prone cities, with Japan sitting at the intersection of 4 tectonic plates. Of most concern is the Nankai Trough, a highly seismic active underwater trench off Japan's Pacific coast that periodically generates mega-earthquakes. In fact, Japan's Earthquake Research Committee puts the probability of the next Nankai megaquake occurring within the next 30 years at about 80%. Of course, Japan is one of the most disaster-ready nations in the world, but natural disasters can still be catastrophic. In 2011, a magnitude 9 earthquake and subsequent tsunami caused massive devastation and left nearly 20,000 people dead. So it's largely with a future potential disaster in mind that there's a push to designate a so-called second capital city, so that if Tokyo is incapacitated by a major disaster...
Are they moving up, closer to Hokkaido, or are they moving back down to Kyoto?
The second capital can assume core governmental and economic functions for as long as necessary. Furthermore, proponents argue that designating a second capital and associated actions like economic incentives, infrastructure projects, and the transfer of certain government offices would be a step towards the decentralization of political power and could help spur economic and population growth outside Tokyo. The second capital proposal is part of the coalition agreement struck between the ruling Liberal Democratic Party, or LDP, and their junior partner, the Japan Innovation Party, or Ishin, in October 2025. The second capital proposal comes from Ishin's policy platform, and they have long wanted Osaka, their home base and political stronghold, to become the second capital. The Japanese government has now submitted a bill to
So they're going
Parliament
to
establish the
Osaka. Osaka, not Kyoto, which used to be the old capital, which I think was like called. And then you know, Tokyo used to be known as Edo, if I'm not mistaken. It became
of the
Tokyo.
second capital, without designating one, hoping that it can be enacted before the end of the parliamentary session on July the 17th. The bill itself was the subject of a lot of back and forth between the two ruling parties. To understand why, you need to know that another of Ishin's long-time goals, arguably its raison d'etre, is to reorganize Osaka Prefecture into a metropolis, with a governing structure similar to what currently only Tokyo has. Now, despite Ishin controlling both Osaka Prefecture and Osaka City for more than a decade, they still haven't managed to get this metropolis plan over the line, as local voters have twice narrowly rejected the proposal in referendums in 2015 and 2020. This is all relevant because Ishin is pushing to hold a third such referendum in 2027. And the party aimed at increasing their chances of success in said referendum by including a provision in the second capital legislation that would have geographically expanded the voter pool to cover all of Osaka Prefecture, and also encourage yes votes by making it so that only cities organised along the same lines as Tokyo would be eligible to be second capital, i.e. if the referendum passed, only Osaka would be eligible. But these Ishin demands were not popular with the LDP, and eventually it was agreed that they would be dropped from the legislation. Nevertheless, Ishin are clearly hoping that this will pave the way for Osaka to be designated as Japan's second capital city. But unsurprisingly, not everyone is on board, as several cities other than Osaka, including Nagoya and Saitama, are now putting forward their own cases to be made the second capital. But one of the more compelling cases, at least from a safety perspective, is Fukuoka. Its distance from Tokyo means it's unlikely to be hit by the same disaster as the capital. Fukuoka is not on Japan's Pacific coast, so is at a lower risk of tsunamis, and is in a less seismically active area, putting it at a lower earthquake risk. Ultimately, the bill as it stands would leave it up to the Prime Minister and Cabinet to make the second capital designation. Realistically, Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi may choose Osaka, given that the main reason the LDP is actually going through with this legislation is to keep Ishin happy and in the governing coalition. While Takaichi's LDP has had a supermajority in the lower house since this February's election, it does not have a majority in the upper house, so the partnership with Ishin gets it closer to the majority threshold. As such, it leaves Takaichi in the awkward position of trying to appease Ishin without frustrating her own party too much, or upsetting other small opposition parties, like the DPP, who she might also want to bring into her coalition to help secure an upper house majority. This balancing act is proving difficult, as opposition parties are holding up legislative progress in the upper house, in protest against various things including Takaichi's parliamentary management, a defamatory campaign video scandal, and contentious proposed electoral reform. With the end of the parliamentary session less than 2 weeks away, the timeline for the second capital bill looks pretty tricky. And if you're thinking that that was a lot to take in, on top of the thousands of other stories happening around the globe right now, you're not wrong. You might even feel...
Oh man, let's see. Anything else? Come on, make it Tokyo 3. We need the Dead Sea Scrolls, man.
This video
Let's see. Oh god, I'm Scholar, that guy. use the same thumbnails over and over again. Oh my god, this is Mama. This is gonna do a whole bunch of stuff. No, it doesn't anything. The offline podcast. Who are these guys? I heard of these people, but I'll follow them. So, see if they ain't good or not. Anything interesting going by? Houston, Texas makes no sense. Thanks, man. I love that. Let's see, Drake Queen game. Do you have any videos I want to watch? Let's see. Ah, here you go. I think this one deals with Suichi. Let's see what Suichi's rap's got, man.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Game and Sunny Mountain Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back out to a Let's Play episode of Tennessee, Shuichi's Path. So y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. Haruki looks away from me, grumbling something that I can't quite hear. Guess it doesn't hurt to try. I'm sorry, what? Nothing. Don't you have better things to do than to bother me? You'd think. Honestly, why am I talking to him? This guy is the crudest person I know, and always a headache. Why on earth do I keep talking to him? I must really be a sucker for punishment. Yuck. That's a really disgusting thought. I refuse. How's the team? Annoying. Boy, aren't you articulate. No, you dipshit. I meant how are they doing since Shuichi left? Oh. He coos softly in response to my question, staring vacantly into space while his brows furrow and twitch. I can almost picture the gears going inside his head. It's an amusing thought.
Gonna call it here.
Okay,
Have a good night.
It's time to be sad when you have to
Oh,
work.
thank you so much. Bye. Alright, I just want to make sure I'm spelling this guy's name right before we go. Let's see.
There's still the next tournament. Wow, that's really pragmatic coming from you. The wolf frowns, cocking his head to the side and staring at me as if he just heard something stupid. I'm not a girl. I said pragmatic, not pregnant, you dumbass. The hell does that mean? Is it some kind of a foreign language? It's Japanese! It means being practical. Oh, why didn't you just say so? Oh god, this guy might be more of an idiot than I initially thought. No wonder he's a delinquent. Either way, I guess I'm glad in a way that things are still going smoothly. Well, sort of. This team is really crappy without the dog around. He speaks loudly enough that some of his teammates hanging around the locker room turn to shoot him angry looks. He completely shrugs them off, not even registering their presence. Ugh, I feel like such a dweeb saying this, but the dog was really good. He's the only one that could bring out this team's full potential. Damn, that's really nice of you. Yeah, whatever. There's no denying it. This guy has definitely softened up tremendously. It'd probably make me a little bit happier to hear if it wasn't so conflicted right now. The more I hear about it, the less I want Shuichi to give up on volleyball. He should be in here practicing with his team. It's bullshit that he's not allowed to just because of Takahiko-san. Ugh. Remembering things that I'd rather forget about. I had thought of maybe giving Shuichi some more space, but I don't think I can do that. I need to talk to him and sort things out. I feel like if I stay away much longer, I won't be able to talk to him again. If you'll excuse me, I kinda need to go now. Haruki shrugs, grabbing his towel from his head and stuffing it back into his bag. Not my problem. I'm gonna go shower. Don't even think of trying to sneak a peek. Very funny. I wish I could tell him not to say that sort of thing in public, but if I act like I'm bothered by it, then it'll just sound offensive. Sometimes I really hate this guy. I quickly jogged my way through campus.
You should have said, like, I only sneak peeks at Shuichi.
Heading to the only place that Shuichi could still be. If he's not here, then he surely will have left for home. However, this conversation ends up going, I feel like having it through the phone would be really inappropriate, so I'd rather not. Second, y'all, it is coffee time. Alright, guys and gals, and we are back. Let's go ahead and jump back in, shall we? Right here, there we go. Okay. I need to see him face to face, even if that does make it much harder to keep my thoughts focused. I knock on the door, waiting around to see if there's any response. Other than a couple people passing by the hallway here and there, the entire place is lifeless and quiet. Then again, it is late in the day already. Most clubs all have already finished their activities. Crap. Could be the student council room is done for the day too? I quickly try on the door, only to find that it's locked. Oh, great. Suddenly, the entire trek over here feels like it was pointless. Great job, Yuichi. What now? Leaning my back against the wall, I let myself slide down until I'm sitting on the ground. There's a tightness in my chest that I can't quite describe. I can't tell if it's irritation or sadness or anything, really. It's just tight. Shuichi, I want to see you. Ah, great. Now I'm talking to myself. Regardless of the situation, that's never a good sign. Better head home and wash up.
Let's see. I mean, like, if you can keep Shuichi on the good path, it's a decent relationship. Maybe not very toxic at all. I mean, not that bad. I mean, Shuichi does get extremely jealous and defensive, and he almost attacked and beat up Junkun. So yeah, he's a bit toxic. Honestly, Junkun very toxic. I don't know. I mean, like, I want to like Jun, but his route is so goddamn toxic. Haruki's route extremely toxic. The only one that's not toxic is Keisuke, the route that no one cares about, which is sad, but that's just how it is.
Maybe a hot shower will get my head out of this funk. At the very least, I'll be in a funk without smelling funky. I drop my bag right next to the sofa, looking around the house to see if I can find any traces of other people. The lights are off, and there were no shoes by the door, so I guess Aki isn't home yet. Probably still at his club. He's been working really hard lately. Maybe I should praise him for that. My entire body feels sore and stiff. I desperately want some hot water to help me relax and loosen up a bit. I need a bath. Getting into the bathroom, I begin to undress myself, folding my sweaty clothes and tossing them inside the laundry basket, which is halfway full by now. I open the faucet on the tub, letting the water pour in to fill it up. Taking a seat by the washing area by the tub, I fill up a bucket with water and splash it on myself, feeling the warm water soak into my fur and run all the way down my body. Even though the water is perfectly warm, there's always that moment where you shiver from it touching your body. Once I get used to the temperature difference, my entire body begins to relax. The heat from the water only lasts for a few seconds before coming back down to body temp, the air around me serving to cool me down rapidly. With a brush and some soap in hand, I scrub myself as clean as I possibly can. Reaching the spot between my shoulder blades is always tricky and a little uncomfortable, but I manage to do it. I wonder how much easier it would have been to have someone else wash my back for me. Back when we were kids, Shuichi and I used to bathe together all the time. Of course, having little kids doing that sort of stuff together means we probably horsed around more than we actually cleaned. Still, it's a very nice memory. Maybe it's something we could revisit at some point. Aki bathes with me on occasion, but less and less these days. Since he's my brother, I don't feel painfully awkward being naked around him, or seeing him naked for that matter. He's just my little brother. Even if I tried, I couldn't bring myself to feel weird about it. It really is nice to have someone to massage my back, although Aki is really lacking in the upper body strength department. Probably a bit too much to ask of someone his age, though. It takes me a good 20 minutes before I feel like I've scrubbed to a satisfactory degree. My fur is completely soaked and heavy.
You need to get like a loofah sponge, man. I got me that sub scrub, and I use that. I bought me a new one because the old one I had for a year. I had to throw it away because it only lasts a whole year. And every like what 3 to 4 weeks you need to wash. You clean it with a little bit of dishwasher detergent, and then sanitize it with a little bit of boiling water. And it, thankfully it doesn't like fall apart like the loofah sponges, man. That shit like just rips apart, man. It gets caught on things too, man. I think I got caught on one of my skin tags one time.
I suppose I do have a lot of fur. Aki is really similar to me in a lot of ways, but sometimes I catch myself thinking that he doesn't look quite as I don't want to say delicate because it feels like a dig towards myself, but no other word seems to come to mind. He definitely doesn't have as much fur as me. Not much as a fact. When I was his age, I remember being so poofy I had to trim my face pretty often so it wouldn't get into my eyes. Luckily, it settled down as I got older, but I guess I still have a lot of fur. It used to bother me a bit when I'd get taunted for looking a little girly, but when I think about it, Shuichi has always liked me just the way I am. That really makes me happy.
He always talks about getting a trim, but he never gets a trim.
To think of. I'm gonna try
not him, not June, not Keisuke.
That way we'll actually have time to talk before class starts. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Before I can space out too much, I rinse myself of all the soap and shampoo until the water begins to run clear. If I want to space out, I can do it while soaking in the tub. Ah, this feels great. Warm baths are just the best. An hour later, the sizzling of the grill echoes loudly in the otherwise silent kitchen. Even if I might not be the greatest of moods, I still need to make dinner for everyone in the house. Aki sure as shit can't cook, so I can't really expect him to take care of himself. Meanwhile, Mom is, well, Mom. Now, other than seeing the food I leave her in the fridge gone the very next day, there are times when I'm not even sure if she came home at all. But she works harder than anything to keep us taken care of, so I'll at least handle the burden while she's home. That's what I've been doing for the past 10 years anyway, so no big deal. From the entrance hall, I hear the sound of a door.
I need to make me some more soup, so tomorrow I need to grab that pot. I need to check if I have all the things. If I don't have the things, I need to go to like Walmart or HEB and grab it. That's what I need to do.
Opening and then quickly closing behind itself. Familiar footsteps echo closer and closer until a certain face pops up. I'm home. Welcome home. You're a little later than usual. Aki drops his bag next to me and walks up to the kitchen counter, leaning on it as he talks to me. Yeah, sorry, I lost track of time. We were doing practice matches today. That's good. Did you do well in them? It was okay, I guess. I won about half of them. Huh, well, a 50% win rate isn't bad. What are you talking about? Of course it's bad. If I can't even win consistently locally, then I'll never qualify for larger competitions. Right now my best record is qualifying for regionals and getting eliminated on round 1. Baby steps. You don't need to take the whole world by storm in a single try. Easy for you to say. Aki suddenly cocks his head to the side, scanning my face intently. It's definitely a little bit unsettling. What's up there, buddy? Are you doing good now? Huh? You look like you were having a rough time over the weekend. I did? You spent most of it either frowning, sighing, or locked up in your room. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to
Alright, let's see. Anything else? Oh, that's it. What about Game Wolf 6? He's playing Furry Melts too. Hearts of Iron. StarCraft. Yeah, that's it. Not much. I need to start watching another new anime. I mean, I could watch, To Be Hero 6. To Be Hero 6? What? Fuck. I was about Big Hero 6? What the fuck? To Be Hero X. Right? I need to finish up Call of Duty. I finished a few levels. I'm trying to finish 1 or 2 levels per day, so I need to finish 2 more levels. First time watching Saw. What? I think I may have seen the first Saw movie. First 1 or 2, I think. It's been a while, man. I cannot remember. I think I saw another random ass Saw. School? Oh god, I remember I woke up. I had like the biggest, nastiest headache, man. I like fucking was like kill myself, man. I was like, oh god, I'm so fucked. Yeah, I think this might help me out. Let's see.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's the Normies.
Yeah, huge.
We needed it. One hit a discussion. I already saw them watch the movie.
Oh yay! This is the only part I remember from this movie, and then like,
oh damn,
Yeah, it's looking at the
this
Shakira
yellow got a
gazelle.
hip,
I mean, them hips don't lie.
and they don't.
it's a lot.
Whiting supervisors.
See, Pat, try everything. You should try all kind of fruits
And
give it a
movies.
chance.
Even the hairy ones.
Those shorts on the
I love the
tiger.
I love
Them
the
stripes
tiger.
too.
Oh, there you go.
Jennifer Goodwin,
Jason Bateman. I love it.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
Octavia Spencer.
Alan Tudyk.
Alan
Of course,
Tudyk.
it's Alan Tudyk.
Oh, he sounded a lot like Steve Buscemi.
He did.
Oh, we did the names. Yay.
Cute.
Try everything.
What a nice movie.
I love this movie. I honestly didn't like remember a lot of it, but for some reason I thought the story met with Gazelle, but like Gazelle's at the concert, so I had like nothing to do with the.
She's just kind of here.
Yeah.
Doing her thing.
Let's see.
Cute.
Oh, John DiMaggio, aka Bender, aka Jake.
Nice.
AKA somebody else.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's a different person. Anyway, what do you guys
Kristen
think?
Bell was Priscilla. She was the one like just a sloth. She said 2 words.
That's so funny.
Well,
oh,
Well, that is high praise. It's real.
real articulate.
Well, that is high praise.
It's rare that I find someone so non-patronizing.
Zebras.
I also like how this movie, in the beginning, they kind of played into all the tropes, well, not tropes, but like the stereotypes, like other animal movies. But I like how they had the message around it at the end, and then flipped it around. So that was good.
You know what the sad part is? The animals don't know that we're stereotyping them.
Yeah.
Like, but the
That's
animals.
the sad part.
Right? The fox.
Right, so you were saying foxes are always the bad guys.
Yeah, every animated thing or anything fox related in me that's bad.
We got like a couple of references.
Right? Yeah, Mr. Smith had Mr. Fox. They made him the bad guy, essentially, always stealing his shit.
Okay, he steals in it, but I mean the people are the bad guys. And
But
foxes
yeah,
steal.
but they made him steal and shit.
Okay, cool.
Okay, there's other fox stuff out there that I can't.
Fair enough.
But there's a Robin Hood that's a fox, but that's a good fox.
That's a good fox in Robin Hood. I mean,
I haven't seen Robin Hood.
There's always the Fox and the Hound, but
Fox and the Hound,
which is also about racism. Disney, what the fuck, dog? It's like 2 for 2.
They're like, how do we tell kids about racism
With
without telling kids
foxes?
about racism? Right, foxes.
I guess Disney also did the Robin Hood with the fox, so fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But everyone thinks of a fox. They think of a sly thief. So
They think you are. You
No, I don't
identify
think
with
I think that, but I think most foxes. Every time you think of a fox, you're gonna think of like a sly or thief.
Oh, yeah.
Because every time you see them, they're stealing chicken eggs.
Are
from the
they?
chicken coop.
When's the last time we saw a fox?
I mean, there's a fox in our neighborhood that
killed the chickens.
that
I was
it
just
should be
at a
eating
little
chickens.
goat farm where they were talking about they had a fox in the chicken coop.
But it's funny that they're considered sly.
I love like I've seen so many reactions and everyone gets the fucking Breaking Bad one, but there's so many other references they don't get, and it's sad.
Predators.
It
So
just-
if the chickens are around, they will come and get it. But like, what makes them sly?
I guess they're sneaky. They get into
Because
shit.
you try
I
really
guess.
hard to keep them out, and
we
they
just
always
still
find
somehow
a way
sneak
Well, you know
in.
what? It should be the fucking woodpecker should be sly. We should be trying really hard with these
We
goddamn
got a
woodpeckers.
sly ass woodpecker.
We do.
But also, I think foxes can like also fit in anything they can get their nose in. It's pretty small.
That's true too. They
And
like
they
have a lot
laugh
of
at
energy.
you.
Yeah,
They do.
They're assholes, really. Like,
They
that's
are.
why they're depicted like this.
Like raccoons are always thieves. Like why do we have always raccoons?
They have the bandit
Yeah,
space.
they have bandits. They will
And
also
they have
have little thumbs, so they open up stuff and they take it. I mean, it's humans. Humans are like, hey, that animal is stealing from me. Animals don't have no fucking concept of what belongs to who. They don't give a shit. The animal's like, I'm
Everything
hungry.
belongs to them.
I'm gonna eat it. So this is all people stuff that we put on
Yeah,
animals. But
that's true.
I think so. The movie's good.
Yeah,
it,
the
it
movie's great.
is. It's got like so. This is listen to what I'm saying. All right, the message is very suitable for kids of all ranges. If you try to take the actual message and like push it into the real world, it breaks apart. But like that's not what it's made for.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
made for kids to watch this and be like, oh,
You want to break
that's
that
bad.
down for us? So like you
All
said,
right,
all
so,
ages.
like-
What age group do you think this message is for? What age group?
5 to 18. How about 5 to 25? I'll give you all the way up to 25.
I
After
think
that,
it's for all ages. Like we can
I mean,
also.
we're all adults. You should know that. I'm saying after 25, this message should be. You should be like, yes, prejudice bad.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there were like different messages. Like for kids, so like you can be anything, and if you
Yeah.
want to just stick with that. But like as adults, like we are still using fear in politics to like scare people from the minority. And in this one, the minority was apparently predators, which was easy to like, I guess.
So
in
when
this
this shit-
concept, like easy
Yeah.
to consume, and I was like, oh wait a minute.
So when this shit drops, motherfuckers online were like, all right, listen, it's about the crack epidemic in the 80s. Okay, you see,
Yeah.
the government introduced crack. It's only going to affect a certain portion of the population and make people think that they're way scarier than they actually are. And like, I mean, when you get to that portion, like, sure, maybe kind of, but like, probably not exactly, because then it's just like black people are predators. It's like, well, no, we don't want that. That's
Yeah.
not what I think the
Yeah.
movie's trying to say. That I think the movie's being like, hey, here's some shit for you, enjoy it. Like, don't try to one-to-one it to real life, because
Thank God someone actually mentioned it. Since the first October came out, so many people have tried to make it into like a one-for-one race analogy, and that kind of falls apart so quickly and so fast. And like, yeah, they keep on pushing. It's been like they've been pushing that for years, and they're not pushing with Zootopia too. It's all about genocide / Israel Palestine. Oh my God, people don't know what gentrification is, and it pisses me off.
I don't know that it works.
Disney's always done really well with making movies in that way, where there's enough layers to be ignored if you're too young, and then to actually grow up and notice. Like, kids are gonna watch this and only be like, yeah, it can be anything.
Yeah.
Then they're gonna grow up just like the government has been lying. It's all there.
It's all about politics.
The writing is like super smart and it's fun. And this is also the movie that like launched 1,000 furries.
And
I believe it.
You're watching it now, and you probably
I can
like.
imagine that. I think
Now
there
you
was
guys were talking about the gazelle's hips. I heard it.
Yeah. Or just like the bunny with the fox.
Nah, it's Lola Bunny.
I think the funny thing is like the
Always a
kids
bunny.
will know about like they find sloths funny, but for adults like yes, BMV is that slow.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny for them.
What DMV do you go to? I go to a DMV and it only takes like 20 minutes. Oh, y'all suck ass.
I would love to be in that boardroom where the
Someone was
assign
cooking,
an
bro.
animal for roles. Like this role should be this animal.
Yeah, all
Someone was
sloths
like,
are
"Hey,
BMV.
listen up, I fucking got it. All right, he's gonna be the DMV," and they're all sloths, and everyone just got quiet. They're just.
Yep, that's
He's
it.
the one.
That's the best part of the movie.
Yes.
I think the realistic
It's
thing was like
iconic.
where they went during the daytime, they got out at night because like
Yeah.
usually when you go to DMV, it's like these 4 hours of your life. So
Yeah,
locked in.
seriously. But
Yeah, you guys need a better DMV, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The action
Fast
scenes
animal.
are fun. You know, it's the music's good. It all looks good. It's a fun
Everything's
little movie.
good.
Yeah, I think it it delivers.
I love the popsicle hustle.
Yeah.
Popsicle was great.
That was actually really solid.
Honestly, he was making $200 a day from like it's like makes sense. Yeah, I just love animated movies just because they're so detailed. Not saying the live actions are not, but I think the animation and anime like those just go a little extra hard because you have to rethink everything in the background.
Yeah.
And everything means something. Tiny details. We didn't find out who was the small fox voice.
Oh yeah.
Gideon?
Who?
Gideon.
Are you talking about Gideon? When he
No,
was-
the other small fox,
the big ear.
the hustler.
Oh, sounds like Tone Loc. I don't know. Let's find out.
He sounded like he had a deep voice. I was
He
like,
was
man.
a Finnick fox, I think.
Yes.
Finnick
Yeah,
Fox,
he was.
yeah. He was named Finnick. That makes sense.
Finnick.
I love
They're
Finnick
adorable.
Fox. They're so cute.
The internet will figure it out for me, baby. I don't know how to spell the word Finnick.
Finnick.
What the hell?
Amazing
Physical
movie.
books.
Guys, if you have seen Zootopia 2, let us know. We would love to watch it. They're doing a great promotion. I think it's just came out or it's recently out. So if it's already streaming, then we'll watch it and probably release these both on YouTube at the same time. So if you're watching this on YouTube, Zootopia 2 is up on our website.
So we got
Debo.
Oh, it's Debo.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Damn.
Oh, was that his last role?
When
There's
did
no
he
way.
pass away?
2020.
Yeah,
So the like I don't know about last role, but he wasn't in Zootopia 2 then.
Yeah, he was not crazy, man.
That's
Damn.
crazy.
Sad. That's sad.
So we caught.
Yeah, he died from COVID, man.
References, but were there any other references?
Oh, the movies on the table were all of those that were silly ass references.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Go back to that scene.
Oh,
all the
wow.
movies.
It was bootleg towards the end after she comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was
Little
cute.
boo-boo.
Absolutely loved it. Yeah, for her to say the predators, but she was just saying, but it's just interesting because a lot of times we think like you are the most open-minded,
Yeah.
but you might actually have the thoughts that's mostly
Well, it's like she didn't think about what Pig Hero 6.
Wreck-It Rhino.
Wrangled, and then we got
Jurassic Park. Floatsun 2. That's hilarious. Adventure of the South Pacific. I love it.
This is awesome.
Weaselton
exclusive.
Bro, he out here cooking up them hold on, if you guys says Weaselton exclusive on there, that means that my guy is also like making the box art, bro. It's going way above and beyond for bootlegs.
Hey, you got to hustle, man.
Everybody's got to hustle.
Alan Tudyk.
I can't believe this Alan Tudyk. Like, I guess it's like
He sounds so much like Steve Buscemi.
He did.
Yeah.
So what? Like anytime there's a weasel roll, like Alan Tudyk it is. I'll take
they
it.
just call him up.
Just call, like, hey, can you do this? Just do a different. But yeah, amazing movie. Loved it. Definitely gonna watch Zootopia 2.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Thank you for watching another fun movie with us. We really do enjoy putting these out on Saturdays for you. And a huge shout out to Zamzoom, Eric Espejo, Anthony Hardy, and Joe. We'll see you guys on the next watch.
Alright then. Let me end my stream now. announcement. I did. Alright, I'm gonna raid someone out. Whoops. Oh. Misspelled it. I had something else that's not supposed to be there. Okay. There you go, guys. We're gonna go raid Peachos _S. Have fun, y'all. Bye bye.
Oh my god, it's so over for me. Oh my god, I can't see! Oh. I think I'm doing it. Hello! Welcome in! Inugami, hello! How you doing? How was your stream? Okay, oh my god, I did it. Okay. I won't die yet. Oh. Oh my god, that was Rocco. Rocco, I'm gonna beat you with a stick. Oh, I didn't mean to grab this. That just happened.